Please stop. You are being scammed. Good morning, guys. Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the village. As always, we are starting this marvelous day in Kisumu Karating. We just had breakfast and I'm getting ready to do a couple of videos before I head out. Today, I'm going to be spending time at a construction site almost 3 hours away. So I've got a very long day and I'm going to get this video real quick before I take off. But here's what I want to talk to you about. Please stop. You are being scammed. I can't tell you how many times I'm getting calls about land issues, especially lands that are bought by big companies that are really screwing up folks. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about in 10 minutes so that I can share with you what I hear from the clients that talk with me about deals gone bad. And again, I'm not saying that you should stay away from buying land using these big companies. But there's a particular group of folks who have turned out to be such a big disappointment. And if you're thinking about it, I just want to give you the information you need to have before you give these people your money. Just stop. Because once you pay them, there is really very little we can do on our end. So let's talk about that in 10 minutes, then I'll let you go. But before we do all of that, again, welcome to Kisumu Karating. We are in the western part of Kenya. If you're new to our channel, I'm a Kenyan American who is doing everything possible to come and lead a dignified life in the village. I tell people that I'm not asking for much. I have just enough of what I need for now, and all I need is just a dignified life in the village, and it is possible. So this is the African dream that we are in the business of selling folks. The idea that you can come back to Africa, just build a small little place that has everything you need, and live a dignified life away from the Western world. And so if you share the same opinion, share the same dreams, we are happy to connect with people who are helping us do that. There are folks who've helped us build homes like this. There are people I'm working with that help in acquiring land, property, and things like that. So again, if you need support, my number is here. As always, as I say, if you enjoy our content, the overwhelming majority of folks who watch is about 60%. Watch but don't remember to check if they have subscribed. So check. If you're one of those, add your name. Your support really takes us much further than we currently are. So thank you again for coming back and supporting us. If you're new, welcome. I only need 10 minutes of your time. And so as I said, today I simply want to talk about this issue of, one second. Oh man, sorry guys. Oftentimes I get interrupted in the middle of my videos with folks calling, which is typical for the kind of work that I do. I talk to people 7 days a week, and that's one of the tough things about this work is that there's no break to it, and I don't mind because I draw so much gratification from what I do. So anyway, as I was saying, I'm talking about there are companies in Kenya. Many of them, unfortunately, are put together by some Kenyans that have really harmed diasporans. I'm not saying all of them. I have seen some companies that are doing a phenomenal work. But even those that do well, there are cases where things don't work out. So I'm not discouraging you from using these big companies to buy land. All I'm saying is that when it works well. But sometimes it does not work out. And right now, almost every single day, I have to get a call or a text from somebody regarding issues of land involving these big companies. So I want to tell you how it often begins. Many of them have figured out a system where they travel to diaspora, mostly in North America and in Europe. And they know the cities where we have Kenyans or other people of African descent who want to come to Kenya. So they come to these cities like they come to LA, they'll be in Houston, they'll be in Seattle, they'll be in Dallas, they'll be in Houston. What else? They also go to a lot of the northeastern states like DC area, Maryland, Delaware, and all that. They know where we have bigger populations of Kenyans. And they send very smooth talking young people with all the promises about relatively competitive priced land that you can pay, very comfortable payment plans and all that. And some of them actually just ask for a deposit. And recently, one young woman actually said that for some of these folks, they don't intend to deliver at all. So you can imagine when they come to LA, they collect your money. They go to Seattle, they collect your money. They go to all these cities and they're busy just collecting just deposit. And they're making millions of dollars. Then they come home and they don't plan on delivering. The main difference for you is that you live in diaspora, they live at home. If you get scammed and you live away from home, it's very difficult for you to get your issue resolved because they have all the time to do nothing but make money. You have work to do, you live away from home, you don't have the systems. When you're scammed by these guys at home, it's almost impossible to get your money because even Kenyans who live in Kenya get scammed by the same people. And oftentimes, as you see, there's nothing you can do to them because oftentimes these people are highly connected within the system. And so I have a friend of mine who reached out the other day. He even got a lawyer only to find out a few days before they went to court that his lawyer was in touch with the other lawyer and the judge, and everybody had been paid. And so when you live in diaspora, don't have the illusion that you can always fight successfully. Sometimes you can, but it takes a lot. It's very difficult. So then these people move around from cities to cities, selling these massive dreams of you got cheap land, come in, everything is worked out. And in some cases, and I'm going to be told the others, in some cases it works out. You come, the land is clean, you pay for it, you get your piece. A lot of people buy land like that. I've got people in my circle who've done that. So when it works, it works. But there are so many cases that for every 2 cases that is worked, I find maybe 4 other cases where there are problems. The first issue is these people will go off to some of these really remote areas, away from nothing, away from everything else you can imagine. They buy very cheap lands, big, and then they chop them into very small pieces. Some of them so small that it's very difficult to then do the kinds of projects we do. Recently, actually went with a client somewhere, I wouldn't mention the name just for the privacy of my client. And when I walked in there, I was just shocked. She paid almost 2 million shillings for something that was not even 50 by 100, very tight. So they will often sell you very tight pieces for slightly higher prices. But then because it looks like it's cheaper and then they have comfortable payment plans, many people will just jump into it. Like I've seen them sell plots for like maybe 500,000 shillings here and there. And then, so if the place is not too small, then you'll find the lands are so far off in places where it'll be years before anything meaningful happens. So then you find yourself with land that is fine, the title is clean, you have all the paperwork, no issues, but it is so remote that it'll be a while before anything meaningful happens in there. And so you don't get the value for the money you put in. That's one of the main challenges that I see. Some of those lands you will discover after maybe a year or 2 when you have massive rainstorm. Then you realize you are in deep trouble because you bought a super swampy area that was sold when it was dry. And I always say land deals are better when it's dry, when it's wet, because then you can tell, especially places that are prone to floods. You might end up buying a swamp that the paperwork is fine, it's cheap and all that, and it's maybe not even too far from the city. But then you end up finding yourself buying a super swamp that will be very difficult to build on. That is a very common problem. And so all I'm saying is, please go ahead and buy land with whoever you work with. This company, some of them will work with you very well. They will help you buy land. But just keep in mind that there's a portion of that group that is really harming diasporans. So be careful with these folks. And I can't tell the difference because sometimes I hear good stories in the same company, but then you also hear really bad stories within the same company. Then the other companies that consistently seem to be problematic. But one thing that I notice with most of them is they have figured out a system to market either online on YouTube or they move around in different cities selling fantastic stuff. And then when you come home, you realize what you have is very far from what you thought. So in general, I say be cautious. Number 2, if at all possible, please don't buy land offline the way some of you guys do. Sometimes it works out, many times it does not. So all I say is buy land when you're home or use somebody to go at least check where that land is. In fact, my wife almost got into one of those. Thankfully, she arrived and then she took off with my sister to go see it. They drove for nearly 2 hours and they still couldn't even get there. She just turned around. If at all possible, I ask you, don't buy land offline, or if you have, because some people don't have the ability to travel home now. That's okay. I buy land for so many people who are not here. Well, I say make sure you have a reliable person who can go there and give you an opinion as to what that is in terms of the suitability for what you want to use it for and whether you are getting value for your money. You work too hard for your money to just throw it away. So folks, feel free to invest in real estate in Kenya. All I say is this thing requires much more work than many people are willing to do. So be careful what you do out there. I wish you the best. And again, if you need help, reach out. We'll be happy to help. Thank you and have a great day.